Let us learn how we can change and control the fill background and also the font settings in Excel. Let's say, for example, we would like to apply a different background color to the title or the column headings that we have. So in order to do that, we are going to use this menu option here, which is called the fill color. And in this, if I open this drop-down menu, you can see all the different colors available. And these colors depend on the theme that you have installed in your Excel. These will be done by default, but you can also change the theme, which will change the colors available here. Another thing to keep in mind is that these colors are also dependent on the version of Excel you have. In different versions of Excel, the default colors that appear have changed. So if you're using a different version of Excel other than the Excel 2010, then you may be seeing different colors in your computer. And another thing to keep in mind here is that by default, the cell actually had a no fill selected, which means there is no color background in your cell. But you can change it now by selecting any of these colors or any of these standard colors. When I hover my mouse over any of these colors, you can see that I can see a preview over on the cells that I've selected. So for example, let me choose this, and that's the dark blue. For example, let me choose this blue color, and this is great. It has applied the blue background fill to all the cells that I've selected. But let's see if I can make this appear even better. So I can also change the color of the font or the text that appear. So I can do that by changing the font color here and by going here, and let's say I want to apply a white font color, and I can click that, and now this set of field names have a white font color against a blue fill color in these cells. And another way you can get to these options would be to click here in the small arrow, which will open the Format Cells dialog box. And we are very familiar with the Format Cells dialog box now. And the Format Cells dialog box gives you more control over the settings than what you see on the menu here in the Home ribbon. Here you will have the most often needed, most used options, but if you want to see more, you can actually go here to the Format Cells dialog box. And let's quickly look at the options here. And we can change the font, we can change the style of the font, whether you want to see bold. And when I click bold, you can see a preview of how that will look like. And I can change the size of the font to be a larger size. I can go as much as 72. And also I can apply the underline that we studied earlier, and there are also more options for you available here. And I can change the font color to be anything else as well. And I can also apply effects like strike through, which will draw a line across the value of the cell. And I can also do superscripts and subscripts. So you have complete control over changing the way the text will appear in your data set. And I'm going to just cancel out of this. And I also want to tell you that you can change the font size using these icons here. For example, let's say I want to change the font size for our title here, and I'm going to click here to increase the size of the cell's content. And this now has 14 points, or this is the size of the font we have in cell A1. But in cell A2, we have only 11. So by default, we had 11, but now we have changed the font size for cell A1. And if I want to decrease it, I can just use this to bring it down to 11. Or I can just select a larger number here, and I can see a preview how that will look like in my cell that I've selected. Now let me go back to just use 12 so that it's slightly larger than everything else. And I can change the font, and I can have a different font. And normally, again, my recommendation is don't do too much of formatting. That may be a distraction. but make sure that things that need to stand out are standing out. And in this case, let's say I just want to apply a little different color here and say I would like it to be appearing in blue font, and I would just keep the 12 font size. I'm not going to change the font. And now we have gone through the different options available in the font area. And now in the upcoming video, we will learn about the alignment area.